Den 1 april i år, 2020, lite i skymundan, mitt under den pågående pandemin, presenterades en artikel av ett ovanligt slag i den vetenskapliga tidskriften Nature. 15 välkända forskare i en optimistisk rapport om tillståndet i världshaven. Budskapet: haven återhämtar sig snabbt om vi tillåter dem.
The story around oceans has been one of decline for some time now. But what we have seen in the course of our research is that in many places where people are doing things right, where they are intervening in the processes which are driving degradation and loss, we are seeing positive changes. The ocean can recover, wildlife is resilient.
Vi har redan verktygen att få ett friskt hav till år 2050, skriver forskarna. Marina skyddsområden, skydd och regleringar mot överfiske, effektivare reningsverk. Och haven har visat sig ha en överraskande snabb återhämtningsförmåga när man gör rätt.
So what we were really saying in this study is that, look, many of these strategies have been tried and tested over the space of decades. We know that they can work. And they could be working over a much greater area if we were to do this at scale. So that is why we kind of set this goal for humanity, this grand challenge to rebuild ocean life by 2050.
Att nå målet friskt hav till 2050 kommer att kräva skarpa åtgärder med bättre och mer omfattande skydd av haven än idag. Och det kommer att kosta enorma summor. Någonstans mellan 100 och 200 miljarder kronor per år för att nå målet för hälften av världens havsområden. Men det kommer att vara värt det 10-dubbla, skriver forskarna.
We realize that nature is incredibly valuable and investments in protecting nature are incredibly cost effective. And what we say in this study is that many of those investments in protection, in habitat restoration, will repay the investment 10 times over in terms of costs that we save and in terms of increased benefit flows from those habitats to us. That message is not yet fully understood by governments or businesses, and often they still see environmental protection as a luxury that they cannot afford. I think where the science is taking us now is to say that we can't afford not to have environmental protection, and so it's got to be this shift in thinking from the old way to the new way.
Undersökningar både nationellt och internationellt visar att allmänheten idag känner stor oro över framtidens havsmiljö, större än annan miljöförstöring och klimatförändringar i allmänhet. Det framgår till exempel av en ny undersökning från SOM-institutet i Sverige. Och allmänhetens ökande medvetenhet ger Callum Roberts hopp.
I'm seeing positive progress, despite the fact that this progress is not sufficient to reverse the downward trends that I've experienced during my lifetime. But I'm positive that we can gradually improve on what we're doing so that those trends do start to reverse. We've done it with whales. Most whales now are not endangered anymore, and some of them are rebuilding their populations to levels not seen since the 19th century. So I think what experiences like that show and tell us is that it is possible to reverse declines.
Callum Roberts ger flera exempel på återhämtning. Populationer växer till hälsosamma nivåer efter att ha varit hotade. Säl och havsörn i Östersjön till exempel. Andelen marina arter på internationella rödlistan minskar. Och politisk vilja gör att de marina skyddsområdena nu täcker allt större havsområden. Sammanlagt 7,5% av världshaven. Och så mycket som hälften av världens havsområden kommer att vara skyddade år 2050 om områdena växer i samma takt som idag. Det finns anledning till optimism. Men tyvärr är skydden inte alltid tillräckliga.
The protected areas that we have across Europe are not working well at the moment. We've been good at establishing them, but we've not been good at protecting them. And I think recognizing that the relationship between what you get from protection and how much protection you give is absolutely crucial. If we understand that better, then we will apply the right kind of protection to recover nature. So that's what I mean when I say that we need to get much better at introducing a higher level of protection in order for those protected areas to work properly. If we don't do that, nature will just continue with its slide into oblivion, and we will continue to see losses in all sorts of ways, not just to wildlife, but a degradation of our own way of life.